What's up, guys? We're back again today with another great video, and in today's video we're going to be working on the new Highlander. If you guys missed the last video that we worked on the Highlander, we actually switched the side marker lights and the turn signals up front of the car to LEDs. I'll pop a card up now if you would like to watch that one before this video, because it's kind of like the part one of this series. But in this video we're actually going to be switching our brake lights, the turn signals, and the reverse lights, and also the license plate lights into LEDs, so that way the whole exterior of the car will have LEDs now. So let's go ahead and we'll jump into the video. Alright, so first things first, let's go ahead and go over the lights that we're going to be using today. So the brake lights we're going to be using is from LasFit. And as you guys can see, that's what the bulbs look like. And here is your part number for these, T-7443R. The R stands for red, obviously, for the brake light. This is going to be the reverse lights we're going to be using today, also from LasFit. And as you guys can see, there's the part number, T-T15. Down here, we actually have our turn signals. The rear turn signals, these are different than the ones I used in the front, and I'll actually leave a link down below because I'm not exactly sure the part number on these. They were packaged a little different. And then our license plate bulbs, like I told you guys before, I'm really not a fan of the way that LasFit makes their mini wedge type bulbs, so I went to super bright LEDs, which I've used a ton before in the past, and got their LEDs, and the part number on these is 194-CWCOB1W. So, and I will leave all the links down below to all these lights in case you guys just want to get the reverse lights or just want to get the rear turns, brake lights, whatever. It'll all be down below. So let's go ahead and we'll jump into the first install. We're actually going to be popping this off, and this should allow us to get the brake lights and the turn signals. Then we'll jump into doing the reverse lights in here, which is through the back hatch. And then we'll do the license plate bulbs, which will pop out from outside the car. This is where we're going to change our brake light and our reverse light. We've got to pop off this plastic cover right here so we can get to the 10mm bolts that are behind it. So you're just going to take a pry tool and kind of go in between right here. And as you can see, it popped off there pretty easy, and then you can go up top right here and pry down like so, and then there you go, it's off. So now we're going to get to our two 10mm bolts here and here. All right, so we've got our 10mm socket, so I'm going to go into a time lapse, take those two bolts off, and I'll show you guys how you pull the tail light forward to pop it out. Alright guys, so as you've seen in the last clip, I slid the taillight housing forward, popped it out, and I went ahead and I took my bulbs out just because it would be easier for me to film. But you're just going to turn each bulb and then just undo the wire from the taillight, and then you'll be able to take it completely off the car. If not, you're going to have to try to work like super close. If you guys are just changing the bulbs obviously and not filming, it would be really easy just to unscrew, put the bulb in and put it back, slide it back on. But for the purposes of the video, I'm going to take this off and show you guys something very interesting that I just figured out. Alright, so the first thing I want to show you guys is what I discovered, and I did not realize this. Maybe it's because we have an XLE, but it actually comes factory with these Luma LEDs right here. As you guys can see, it's not wanting to focus, but right here's where the branding is. It says Luma LEDs. So both of our brake lights are actually already LEDs in the back, just not our turn signal. So with that being said, I was actually still going to change them just because I figured the LasFit ones would be a lot brighter because the diodes in these are so small compared to obviously our LasFit ones. But if you look at the back of your taillight housing, right inside of there, there's actually like an acrylic baffle, or kind of almost like how some headlights have those projector lenses. It's kind of got like a projector lens in there. So on both of them, right here and right there, there's actually little lenses in there that, you know, disperse the light better, I guess for these smaller LED diodes, so it shoots the light throughout the whole tail light. So the only way that you would be able to install like the last fit brake lights is if you'd have to break out those baffles or something, obviously, and then you would have to buy the 7443 like plug-in, because as you guys can see right here, we actually don't even have the wedge style plug-in, so you would have to unclip it from here, buy the 7443 plug, clip it onto your factory harness, and then use that. So like I said, guys, I don't know if this is just an XLE thing or if, you know, all the Highlanders come standard with the brake lights as LEDs. If they do, that's really, really cool. If not, and you've got an LE model or a lower model, then maybe you would be able to go ahead and use the 7443s. I couldn't imagine that they would make them different, but maybe they did. So if you guys are wanting to get LEDs for your taillights and you have an LE, where I've got an XLE, obviously it's not going to be exactly the same. So you might want to run out, take those two bolts out, just slide your headlight forward and see what you've got behind there before you buy these last fit bulbs, because they're definitely not cheap. Obviously I can return them or I might use them on a different vehicle, but I just want to let you guys know that you cannot use these brake lights on an XLE Highlander. So let's go ahead, jump to it. We'll at least go ahead and get our turn signal changed. Then we'll go to our reverse lights and our license plate lights up top. All right, so let's go ahead and change our rear turn signal with our last fit turn signal. Just pop it right out, pop your new turn signal in. Now we'll go up here, check, make sure it works, then reinstall the tail light and show you guys a side-by-side of the turn signals, LED versus the halogen. One thing on these LEDs is, like I said before, they do have polarity. So if you check it and it's not working, like before you install everything, make sure you check it. And if it's not working, don't be alarmed. Just grab the bulb, take it off, flip it around, put it back in, and it should work. But as you guys can see, right here is the clip that the taillight's going to slide into. And then here is the other clip that it goes into as well. And then there's your two 10mm bolts. Actually, it really came off super easy. A lot easier than some of the other taillights that I've taken off in the past that have to clip into the rear quarter panel. So let's go ahead, I'll get everything reinstalled and let's show you guys that side by side. All right, so we got everything back together and I've got the hazards on, that way we can see kind of a comparison. So this is the side with the LED right here, and here is the side with the halogen bulb. Obviously we still have all the lights on in the garage, but there's a huge difference. And as you guys can see, it's the same as the front. The light's on and off immediately over here, and over here it's kind of fading in and out. So it's just a crisper light, it looks a lot better. What I'll do is I'll film this one and that one and just put a side by side right now. That way you all can see a good comparison. Let's see. So as you guys can see right there, the LED looks a lot better, a lot brighter. Altogether the LEDs just look nicer, and I wish the car came with them from factory. So now let's go ahead and we'll jump into our reverse lights. I'll show you guys another quick view of the tail lights on the wall. I'll shut the lights off in the garage real quick. So obviously that side's the LED, this side is the halogen. LED's a lot brighter, as you can see. All right, so now for the reverse lights, we're gonna pop out the little panels here. You'll either need a pry tool or a flathead screwdriver, and you can go up right in this corner and just pop it out like so. Pretty easy there. And then you'll do the same thing on that side. So let's go ahead and I'll switch this one out for you guys really quick. As you can see, the bulb is right here. We'll twist it out. If I can get my hand up in there. All right, just like that. So there's our old reverse light right here, and here is our new last fit reverse lights. As you guys can see, go ahead and take it out. Same thing on these, they do have polarity. So I'm gonna go ahead, put this in, and I will get my assistant to put the car in reverse and hold the brake. That way we can make sure it's working before we fully install it back in the car. Alright, so as you guys can see, we have the LED bulb up here. So one thing that's going to help you when installing these is, as you guys can see where the bulb's longer, there's no way to really fit it up in there. So what you can actually do is just unclip it from the harness right here. We've actually already checked these and made sure that the polarity was right. So you can unclip it like so, and then it's off. So now you can go straight in, lock it into place, and then you can just take your harness and clip the harness back in like that. So now we're going to do the same thing over here, and then we'll go ahead and show a comparison of the halogen versus the LEDs. Alright guys, so here is what the old halogen bulbs look like during with the garage lights on. As you can see, we'll turn them off now. So as you can see, there's what the reverse lights look like here. Now I'll show you what they look like on the screen inside the car. And this is obviously just in the garage, but here's what they look like on the screen. Alright guys, so here is what the LEDs look like here and here with the lights on in the garage. Now let's turn them off. So there's what the LED reverse lights look like. The lights off. Now let's see what the screen looks like up front. There's what the screen looks like, and as you guys can see, there's a lot more light on the back wall. Obviously you'll really be able to tell in like a real life situation, but this is what it looks like in the garage. Alright guys, so now let's jump into the last part of this video, which is our license plate lights. I'll actually show you guys what they look like now. There actually is LEDs in here, but they are cheap Amazon LEDs that I bought. But now we've got the good super bright LEDs, so you'll be able to tell the difference between a crappy LED and a good LED. Alright, so first things first, you're going to want to grab a like skinny pry tool or a very skinny screwdriver, because right here is where you're supposed to unclip it at. So I'm going to take a very skinny screwdriver, stick it in, pry this way, and it should pop the panel off. Alright, so now I got my screwdriver, so I'm going to go in right here and then push that way. Just like that. So as you guys can see, it's loose now, and you're gonna just kind of pull back like this and then slide this back this way, and it'll unclip this other side just like that. So now for this part, I actually take one of my skinny pry tools and I actually pop the whole piece out. You can also just try to pop off the plastic piece. You can do it either way. Sometimes if you push in this way, it'll just pop off the clear piece. Sometimes it'll unclip it actually from the car. Either way, like I said, you can do it both ways. So let me grab my pry tool and I'll come in here and I'll pop this out. All right, so I got my pry tool. I'm gonna come in here, push to the side, and then pull back at the same time. Just like that. So now this side's undone. Now I'm gonna do the same thing over here. And then you can just pull it out just like this. We'll throw our pry tool back in the car, and then you can spin it around and just grab this plug and slide it out just like that. Just make sure you don't let it go and it sucks back into the car, because it'll be a pain to fish it back out. So now we've got this by itself, and then we can unclip the clear piece. There is a way too that you can just leave this in the car and pop it out, but I've just found it easier just to do this because it kind of scares me that I'm going to break this clear piece when it's in the car. So I'm going to take it over to my workbench, pop this off. So now that you've got it off the car, you can actually just take your thumb and pop in right here like so, and then that'll pop off, and then now you can change your bulb. All right, so now that we've got our new bulb in, the only thing you got to do is just pop the cover right back on. Just like that. And then now you'll just push your gasket back up and make sure it's behind on this side of the pegs. Just go all the way around and just make sure that it's back where it's supposed to be. And then you'll be ready to reinstall this. All right, so we're back over at the car. So now we'll just plug it back in. I've already checked the polarity of these to make sure they work. You might want to do the same before you put it back in the car. But like I said, I've already changed it or checked it. So you'll just push it right back up into here. And you'll push it back up in, make sure it's good and clipped in and not going to fall back out. You can kind of give it some tugs just like that. Now we'll grab our other piece, which is like the trim for it, and we'll just slide it in, just like push this piece in this way, and then you'll just slide this piece right in like so. And now it's all back together and good to go. So then you'll just do the same thing for that side. And now I will show you guys a comparison of the cheap Amazon LEDs compared to the new super bright LEDs. These do have more of like a whiter tone, where the Amazon ones had more of a blue tone. Here is the crappy Amazon LEDs for the back license plate. You guys can barely tell they're on during the daylight, besides where they're reflecting off the paint. Let me turn off the garage lights. Here's kind of what they look like. They've got more of like a bluer tone to them, but at nighttime they look really dingy and do not look nice at all. All right, so here's what the super bright LEDs look like in the daylight or with our garage lights on. As you guys can see, you can still see them down here, but now you're actually able to kind of see some light coming down, and it's really bright in the garage. Let's go ahead and we will turn these off. And now you guys can see how pretty and clean it looks now compared to that old dingy blue color, or for you guys, the halogen color has got that very dingy color. This is a good, pure, nice white. So that will be our last install for today. So let's go ahead and we will close up the video. All right, guys, so that is it for today's video. I hope this install video will help some of you guys change your Highlander LEDs over. Like I said, I did not know going into it that the XLE, which is what we have, it could be all Highlanders. I'm not 100% sure on that, to be honest. That the brake lights in the rear are already LEDs, so we did not get to use those, so there's no point in buying them unless you look up and see that, like, if you have an LE or something like that that does not have LEDs, you could buy those. So with that being said, we've got everything on the exterior of the car now done, and they are LEDs. We've got our front side marker lights, front turn signals, rear turn signals, rear reverse lights, and our license plate lights now switched over to a better LED. And as you guys can see, it makes a big time difference. Like I said before, I hope this install will help you guys get your LEDs switched over. And if you guys have done them and there was like an easier way to do a certain light on the back, just leave it down in the comments so it'll help other people that has the Highlander. I want to kind of create a community here and we can help each other. I'm not saying that I've done it the best way. There could be an easier way to do it. I was just kind of figuring it out as I went. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel. There's going to be a lot more Highlander stuff. And we're actually going to start jumping back into the Scion TC as well and doing some cool items on it. And I'm actually probably going to put a sound system in the Highlander here probably in the next month or so as well from OEM Audio. So that'll be a really fun video to do for you guys. So like I said, please subscribe so you don't miss those videos. Like the video and share it to all your friends, your Highlander buddies. Peace out, and remember, build your masterpiece.
Hey, I got something to say. I'm just so sick of hearing everyone complain. I know it's tough and I know there's pain,